All right, good morning, trade engineers. How we doing? Apologies for the late start. I had to do a last minute meditation, messed around and let some negative energy seep into my consciousness, so had to release that. Start this session off right. I want to start this session off with some negative energy. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going. For the economic calendar today, we have crude oil inventories at 10:30. Today is also a FOMC afternoon with the FOMC with the FOMC meeting minutes. All right, so got that going on today. Tomorrow we have initial jobless claims, and Powell is supposed to be speaking at lunchtime. And then Friday we have the PPI at 8:30. All right, so that is what we're looking at on the economic calendar. Let's go ahead and go to the power range. All right, let me try that one more time. All right, so for NQ Future Sessions power range today, we got a high of 13,596.25 with a low of 13,576.25. At the time of this posting, we were trading neutral, down 0.01%. That has changed a lot with a volume of 53K and the ATR is 264.79. Let's go ahead and look at the power range report from the night. Hit that play. So now we can see we had a little bit more of a sell-off in the pre-market after that posting. Traded down to PR -2. Found a little bit of bounce down there. So broke this resistance right here, our support right here at pretty much 550. So it looks like it's trying to retest that now. So right now we are bearish in relation to the power range. So we're going to take that into our trading this morning. Well, I don't know what you're going to do. I'm going to take it into my trading this morning. Just sticking to the strategy. Let's go ahead and look at the rest of the market. Got ES pretty much doing the same thing as usual. It also traded down to -2 or -2. Yesterday I think it just like touched all-time highs, but overall we kind of ended up with a sort of an inside candle minus that little brief period in the all-time high range. Let's just look at, I'm just going to look at the daily for the other index or the other equity futures. Kind of just hanging out sideways with the Russell, and kind of the same price action for YM as we got with ES. Go ahead and look at GC. All right, so nice little bearish pattern overnight. A little bit of retracement into negative, what's that, 3. So possibly could just be hanging out sideways for a while. It'd be interesting to see if we did find nice resistance, or some sellers sitting at the resistance that was formed in the European session at 1739. All right, so pretty much right now just kind of hanging out sideways. Go ahead and look at crude. Crude oil being its normal choppy self all over the place. Plus there's inventories today. So if I was trading crude still, I wouldn't be trading until after the inventories report. I would expect it, to see this wild price action until 10:30. And then I'll be looking at, possibly a directional move. on the daily, it's still trading is within this range, as we can see right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight it. Something like that. Not perfect, but you know, close enough. And going and moving on over to the euro currency. Retesting a bearish pivot on the daily, trading slightly bullish in the pre-market. Chopped around a bit overnight, which is interesting because usually it has its trending move during the European session, being that it is the currency for that part of the world. But it didn't find a little bit of direction in the pre-market. It just popped higher, and now we're just bouncing on the support at +2, PR +2. All right, so that's a quick little snapshot of the broader market, of my watch list. I meant to say this at the beginning of the stream, you know, but as you can see from the title, Leeloo is having a one-day sale tomorrow for the, it's not the, which account is it? Let me see, it's in the description. Yeah, for the Climb account. So you can get the Climb account for $99 for the first month, and then the regular price after that first month. If you're interested, if you're not trading with Leeloo already, but you're interested in it and you already have a working strategy, you just want to leverage other people's money, then you know that's available there for you. You can get started at a discounted rate for your first month if you're interested. And if you already have a Leeloo account and you're interested in opening up another account, which I may end up doing in the near future once I get this other stuff taken care of, you know, you can take advantage of that code as well. So the code and everything is in the description if you are interested. For those that are interested and already have a working strategy, that's the key that when I recommend, you know, anything, you know, any funded program like Leeloo or Top Step or anything, my recommendation is that you already have a working strategy and that you already have proven yourself to be, you know, profitable. Not saying that you got to trade perfectly, but you know how to take profits from this market on a consistent basis. That's when it's time to take advantage of these OPM opportunities such as Leeloo. All right, so let me go ahead and get that pre-market snapshot in. Go through one more run through of my checklist. Make sure I have all my bases covered. Got about 30 seconds to the open. Let me open up the right chart book. Let's see, got my Delta board there. All right. Trying to get my music right. It didn't open up for me the way that I wanted it to. Still got about 2 minutes before my window opens. Looks like we got some little bit of bearish retracement at the open, chopping around a little bit with NQ. ES's. The bulls are taking off, trading back to PR 50. Got a lot of noise in here in our value area for NQ. Has some sellers sitting right there at the point of control. I need to change the color of this point of control for in Sierra chart. I can clearly see it in multi-chart, but not so much in Sierra chart. All right, let's see if we're ready. I don't like the way that mixed. All right, let's see. All right, so we got a choppy open. Very noisy in terms of the volume by price. Sellers came in, just broke through a key level at 530. I still don't have an entry yet, so I will need a retest. And with the Sierra chart testing phase over here, I almost took it short right there, but that's not part of my strategy, so I had to remove that. But we got some strong sell-off at this moment. Let's see if we can get some continued momentum short. Even if we do get this momentum from this next minute, I'm still not the overall. We got to remember that the overall trend is bullish or to the long side, so I'm not looking for any big plays short this morning. If I was to take a short, I'd be in and out quickly. That's just me personally. I feel like this move is some retracement from the buying that we saw over the last few trading days. So I'm interested to see how this closes in relation to our key level here. Looks like we got some buyers stepping up now. looking at the price action. A lot of negative delta on the board. I got slight of a conflict between my levels. I got this -3 and the key level is like really close to each other, and we're trading in between that right now. So this is one of the reasons why I like to keep as few stuff on the screen as possible. You put too much stuff on your charts, you're definitely prone to analysis paralysis, where you got things that just conflicting with each other. Sometimes they work together really well, and sometimes they conflict with each other. So all I had there was the key level and the structure. It looks like it does want to work out. But I didn't like the volume in that level to take it that aggressively. And the fact that our overall trend is still bullish.
Order submitted.
So it looks like buying is really trying to push the price higher. I do have an order to, try to play that bearish momentum for that 1-3 minute candle. If my order doesn't continue to get front run like it did yesterday, like it's been doing, which just happened again. All right, so, well, let me see, 37. So price turned around about 4 points before my order. Order placement has definitely been my challenge this month, more so than ever. Like, there's a lot of times I don't get filled because I don't have my order in the absolute best place. But And that's just, I got to stay consistent to the strategy. It's just that the way the price is working out, the price action is working out. I tend to have my order like a little bit away from where the price actually reacts.
Position opened. Order pending. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Make sure. So I kept that order there and it traded through it. So we'll see if we can get another dip if we stay true to this range. Definitely got to make sure that I keep, of course, the big picture in mind, and also keep the trailing drawdown in mind as well. Stop losses are based on support and resistance, or it's based on the levels. Not a huge fan for how we're shaping up right now.
Order pending. Order submitted. Order pending. Order pending. Order pending.
Alright, let's see. I may have to take a L on this one. We'll see how price responds. if the loss end up being too big on this one, if I have to take this loss, which looks like it's the way that price action is coming in, definitely looks possible. Looks like, we'll see how, this turns out, but the market may have, how can I say it? I definitely want to make sure I hold accountability. I'm just reviewing it right now. I have to go back and review this day, but I feel like in the moment that I stay true to the strategy and everything. So, like I said, if it's worst case scenario, I'll have to adjust. Keeping the drawdown in mind, I have to adjust my strategy to, one of my safer strategies. But that's just thinking ahead, planning ahead. Just thinking of the possibilities. One of the disadvantages of missing so many trades before by order placement and all that stuff, or not being aggressive enough, is I didn't build enough cushion in this account to, take a big drawdown yet.
Stop filled. Order submitted.
Some of this also, because just thinking, like I said, I am going to have to go back and review this day. But some of this also, I haven't been as focused as I have needed to be lately because I've been working on this other project. Like usually I like to do have practice sessions and stuff over the weekend and when I'm not trading. And I definitely like to go back and back test and study and all that stuff. Make sure I can, stay sharp with my trading, sharp with how I execute my strategy. But I haven't been doing it as much lately because I've been trying to work, and I've been working on this project. Alright, yes, I'm gonna have to kill this if it, soon. Price turned around really nasty on me. I do have a max loss for this trade. It's a mental max loss. We should this weekend do a replay of the day in the room. Of this day in the room. I may be able to do that Sunday. Because what I don't want to do is have to start all over again. So I'd rather take a loss today and then give myself, still have some cushion left over. Just work myself back into it. All right, so feel like it could go back up to power range high, but I can't hold it that long. I got to just accept the loss here.
Position closed.
Had to accept the loss. That was a big loss, and you know, it is what it is. So I feel like at some point it's going to turn around, and that could have been where it turned around. I probably took myself out of where it turned around, but that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go ahead and just take that loss than just try to hold it and hope that it's going to turn around for me, and then it doesn't, and then I end up blowing out the account again. So that's not what we want to do. Losses are part of the game. You have to be able to take loss. But the beautiful part of that is, overall, I'm still in the green. It did take away a lot of my gains because I was just taking small winners up until this point. But the account itself is still in the green. So now I need to switch over. I'm gonna do a lot of research. I'm gonna do a lot of studying and a lot of reviewing of this day. That's what I need to do first, and then I'll decide how I want to proceed forward. There is a balance that we have to hold with the system we are using and the inevitable absolute truth of change, of awareness to it, of it. It's master level to know when to act. True. Definitely true. So from the frequency that I'm holding right now, I feel like, you know, I traded a strategy the way that I'm supposed to. I just feel like price action got the best of me right now. You know, the system got the best of me right now. So again, it's part of the game. Gotta expect things to not work out the way you would like them to. Are not acting, just be. Alright, so the plan from now is to not take any more trades until I do a thorough review. Once I so the way I like to take losses like this, not a small loss, but you know, this kind of loss where I feel like things could have been different. That's the best way I can think to put it right now. The way I like to do it is I like to completely remove myself from the frequency of that situation, and then go back and review it with a brand new perspective, with fresh eyes, a neutral feeling about the situation, and then see if I could have did anything better, if it was more so just wrong back timing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just see where the problems were, and then see what I did right so I can continue to do that. Because like I've mentioned before, I like to put most of the focus on what I did right, but also being aware of where I went wrong so that I can, make those necessary adjustments. So yeah, it's like we got this little micro pullback, and then we're going to continue higher. So that I made a good decision there to go ahead and get out, because it's not going to turn around the way. Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, that happened. Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I want to go ahead and. Now, usually when I have losses like this, I go ahead and like shut everything down. But I'm not really watching the charts anymore. So now I'm just using this moment as a time to just kind of go through my thought process. Maybe it could help someone else that may watch this later or who's watching it now. But the good thing, compared to the last time I had a day like this, was just once this year. And I have a video on this channel if you haven't seen that already, if you're not aware of the other time like something like this happened. The good things about it is I didn't let it turn out much worse than it did. So right there, I took a loss of $849. Something also I gotta look at is the numbers, just to see how that weighs compared to the max win. So there's a lot of variables. So I'm going through a lot of ideas in my mind right now, but there's a lot of variables. I know a lot of people would say, your wins should be bigger than your losses, but a lot of times when they continue to talk about that, there's a lot of variables that they don't consider when they make those statements. So now, like, we're getting some sellers are finally starting to come in. And if you can hold the awareness of the thought process as it plays out in real time, just watch. Yep. So now we finally got those sellers coming in. Let's see if they can continue to push the market lower. Because at some point, just that move that we saw between 939 and 954, you would expect some retracement of that, some just the buyers to cover their positions and some people to come in short. And just looking at this, like, where price is responding is not clean at all compared to our levels, compared to volume. And this is in hindsight, of course. I don't know how it looked I don't remember how like certain things were when price was, when we were forming these candles in here. Nope. So had to look below and fail. So yeah. So from the awareness that I'm holding now, it definitely just seems like one of those days where it is completely savage. This is the best way that I can think to put it right now. Because that move is, just looking at the structure, is insane. Hindsight Capital says the only place that I really, one of my levels would have worked so far in this morning session is at the VPOC, or where it is right now. So it was lower before. So at 580, or the power range low, in that range right there, there was a potential there, but we shot through all the other levels. Slight possibility at minus -1. Make sure I go update the journal before I get this other thought out. Also Hindsight Capital. So before I got filled, I did mention that price turned around a few points before my order. So what I could have did there is just going through the different possibilities. I could have taken that as a sign that that level is no longer valid, and sometimes I do that. When I traded the afternoon yesterday, I didn't do that, and that one kind of worked out in my favor. But and sometimes it does. Sometimes it retests the same level multiple times, so it's not like a right or wrong thing, or a definitely nothing in the market is 100%. But just going through different actions that I could have taken. So once I did see that the price kind of did respond the way that I wanted to before my level, I could have took that as a sign that that level is no longer valid. Then I could have moved the order up higher, so that would have put me at minus, or the PR -1, somewhere in there. But then looking at this in hindsight, and if I remember correctly, there was a lot of noise in terms of volume at that level. So, but if I would have just stuck to the level, that would have put me in a better position for that to take the short there. We do have a little bit of structure, but also structure wise, that would have kind of been confirming that there was that momentum move was more so of a look below and fail. So a lot of different variables as I'm looking at this, which makes sense why, what happened, why it was such a I don't want to use the word difficult, but challenging position to take, and why we got the price action that we got, because there's a lot of noise in here between 596 and the low, really, the session low. But if I was just sticking to the levels, if I would have, moved that up to the next level, could have potentially got a scalp out of that. If not, would have loaded in at the power range low, and would have gave me at least a chance to get out quickly. Just from what I'm imagining, looking at it in hindsight. But as price continues to chop higher, today was just not the day for the strategy, period. So, eventually you're going to have those days where your strategy is just not going to work. And today is one of those days. And with all of that being said, I definitely feel like things could have been much worse. And I, at this moment, don't feel like I could have did anything different, honestly. Like, I stayed true to the strategy. Yeah, we can go back in hindsight and we can say, oh yeah, I could have did this, could have did that. But could you have really? As long as you stuck to your strategy and you wasn't, trigger shy, and you pulled the trigger and you did what you were supposed to do, no matter what your P&L looks like at the end of that, as long as you followed your strategy, that's a good day. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from it, is to, no matter what happens on the charts, no matter what happens with your P&L, the key is to stick to your strategy and don't let things get too out of control to where you're just blowing out your account, or you're, taking massively big losses. See, if I would have held that, trying to, being hopeful that it was going to turn around eventually and do what I wanted it to do, like right now, this would have been like account blowout territory for me if I would have tried to hold it, because with the price action, I would have never got back into the green. So from that standpoint, it's a win. Yep. Hard lesson to learn, but you can learn and grow each time, and that's just wow. See what ES is just chopping around, not doing a whole lot of anything really. So I am interested to see if NQ trades into the all-time high range today. What's the high? Let me see. I can't find my, where is the tool? Okay. Oh, there it is. It popped up on a different screen. Alright, so the high of well, so it's not an all-time high because we got this over here. But the high of yesterday was 654 and a quarter. Erase it, to erase it later. Alright, so before I go ahead and close up the shop, so let me just open this up bigger. What does that look like on the screen? I think it's better this way. Alright, so the way that the power range works, from the way that I use it anyway. So I use plus and negative 1, plus and minus 1 as my points of. Let me turn this music down also, just to kind of give a little insight on what I'm looking at. Alright, so right now I haven't, per the power range, we're still on the bearish side of it, right? So the way that I use these levels is I use plus and minus 1, so these yellow lines, as my point of reference for trend direction change, or trend change, or the trend, whatever the trend is. So you see in the pre-market we broke this level here and we retested it. So that's when I saw it as, that's when I pretty much decided that I'm gonna take shorts today, or shorts in the morning session, as long as we're below +1, right? So it looks like we're trying to break PR +1. So if it breaks it and then retest it, and then I will officially, the power range will officially deem that as now we're changed directions to be more bullish than bearish, right? So if I was playing this, I would use these levels as opportunities to take a short. But since we had so much momentum, if I was still trading, I would be a little bit careful with taking, with this much momentum, I would be a little bit careful with taking a short in here, period. Also keeping the bigger trend in mind, the bigger picture in mind. So we look at the 30-minute. Just running through some more ideas while I'm here. You can see that we did have this look below and fail on the 30-minute chart of this support right here. But we had a lot of room to the, the short side. So maybe that's one thing that I also could have been looking at before I took that trade. But I wasn't looking for any, like I mentioned before I even took the trade, before I even put the order in. I wasn't necessarily looking for any big play. I wasn't even looking for us to trade into this range right here. I was really just looking to, play one of the levels for a quick, in and out short. Even if I would have took a responsive trade, it still wouldn't have worked out from, from the perspective, from the frequency that I'm holding right now. So these are things that I'm verbalizing this, so these are things that I'm gonna keep in mind when I go back and review it. Holding a new frequency, holding a fresh frequency. So with all that being said, I appreciate everybody for coming through, watching my journey and all that good stuff. I hope y'all are definitely having a better, day at it than I am. And actually coming out on the positive side of it. And I will see y'all on the next one. Trade it easy.